Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten Movie Reviews. The panel today is one short because Angela has to go, I think, for a minor surgery of something that I can't specifically remember, and that's so we know she'll be doing well, and we wish her a speedy recovery. Before I get into what we're going with me are the other two degenerates, and this is probably going to be one hell of a off-topic stream, even though we're supposed to be on topic. But on that is first is Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
Oh, not so bad. And then for this triangle of debauchery and degeneracy, I mean, I say that, but like we're just three dudes sitting in our homes, like we're going out of the town. But I have James Colley. James, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
So
Remember, just
mhm,
a tip means something different, but in person.
that's probably true. So today, no, get back on that. No, God dang it. Okay, scroll. Go on that. There we go. That there. Widen that back out. Back up to center it. Since it went all fucking stupid on me. There we go. That's looking a little better. We watched the 1995 movie Kiss of Death. And I don't know what the fuck it was about the goddamn 90s. Holy fuck, did they get good casting?
Yeah,
I mean,
that
for
was really
fuck's
impactful.
sake. Okay. All right. 1995 movie. It is a crime drama thriller where Nicolas Cage is actually the villain. But we have David Caruso, Samuel L. Jackson, Nicolas Cage, Helen Hunt for part of it. Catherine Erb, who I've seen her in other stuff and I can't remember exactly what. Uh, Stanley Tucci, that Michael Rappaport, and not gonna lie, him dying in this movie was pretty satisfying. We had fucking Ving Rhames,
Yeah, it was a star-studded cast.
and I'm probably missing some of like the guy who played like Big Junior. Uh, and then of course all this happens of seeing some of the old like the older cats and whatnot. Oh yeah, fucking Anthony Healed, and I've seen him in a bunch of other shit. You know, we also recently lost Bob Barker.
God rest his soul.
I will still say, while it almost seems in bad taste, the whole thing of, you know, he got as close as he could to 100 without going over. Like, that was, I actually, it's like, well, I want to be like, that is so poor, but it's like, I think he might have laughed at that. I
I would
legitimately
love
think he would have. But going back into it, we have to this movie, we have a reformed convict goes undercover to help an angry detective ensnare a psychotic mobster. It starts out so fucking weird. And it stays weird as hell throughout the entirety of the movie.
yes.
But seriously, it was not bad. That's where I know her from so well. She was in the chick who plays basically like a Rosie, the girl who gets
Mm-hmm.
with David Crusoe after it. She's the teacher for D2 The Mighty Ducks.
Okay.
I was like, where else do I know her from? But yeah, that like Helen Hunt has a small role in it because she's his, David Crusoe's original wife before she dies, and it's still left
Well,
open of whether or not Rappaport's character had his, got her drunk to have his way with her.
I
um,
still say you did.
Probably, Rappaport always plays really fucking weird characters that want to be tough guys.
Yeah.
see, Helen Hunt's character,
Mm-hmm.
what happened is that she went back to her first crush.
How from everything that was going on, she seemed like she wasn't even interested. She wanted to make sure her daughter was taken care of and have her husband get back.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
only
So
part,
she went to her first crush.
the bottle.
No, she was crushed by the truck.
Ha! But Rappaport was a dickweed. His character, well, he is too, but still. I digress. Like
Supposed to
the
get her.
big junior told him to give him 400, and he's only giving her 150 to make her work for him.
mhm.
You can't tell me he didn't. Look, remember her pants were pulled. Her pants were undone. Her button was undone. I'm pretty sure he touched her.
Yeah.
He may not have fucked her, but he touched her.
Well, I think in that situation, he was trying to make it seem like it's what he was, that he was trying to do the right thing and everything, so she would fall for him.
Yeah.
But then, he gets beaten to death while the song "Jump Around" gets played.
And he deserved it.
This is one of those things. I still can't say it was necessarily a bad movie. It's just fucking weird.
Well, it, the beginning, if you had shown some flashbacks to where Caruso and Rappaport's characters were in the situation, instead of, okay, your family, and we took you in, if they would have actually shown that, that probably would have been a little bit more of a, laid some groundwork for him, for Caruso owing Rappaport, you know?
Well, this was the 90s, so they didn't necessarily do things like that.
Yeah.
Like that,
I
something
know.
like that would have been done in a more like movie that had been like film buffs would say is a great movie, or done in something that was supposed to be like artsy fartsy type thing. And this, it's just supposed to be the implied. If they say it, okay, that's the implied that you're supposed to believe it.
Yeah.
He still was a fucking dick.
Oh yeah, like Michael Rappaport, I think, other than a quaint few characters, he has had so many characters that are just complete pieces of shit. Because don't forget, he was in The Sixth Day. I think he was the friend. Yeah, he's the one who like covered for the friend or whatnot. I won't lie though, I did kind of like him in Justified.
Mm-hmm.
Because like he's not a bad actor necessarily. It just seems like so much of what he does, or what they typecast him for, is to play a guy who acts like a badass. Like isn't a badass, but tries to act like it. Then again, if I remember correctly, he also the same dumbass who like keeps going on about how they got Trump.
Yeah.
Keeps
Yeah,
making those little stupid ass videos.
That is one
yeah.
of them.
So
Like has some extreme fucking TDS.
he does. So I remember catching a. I think this was a quick video. I can't remember who it was about. And Mike Tyson was talking to him about the shit with Trump. Like, I ain't gonna say bad shit about Trump ever again. And he goes, why? Because when I was going through that shit with Robin Givens, he was the only one that had my back. And he openly said, I got you. So,
Trump said that. Right now. Trump said that to Tyson?
No, yeah. Tyson was telling the story to Michael Rappaport about him and Trump.
Yeah.
Like, when everybody was turning their back on me, he didn't. I ain't gonna ever say anything bad about him. Like, the whole world turned against me, but he was there. So, yeah. Fuck off.
Well, honestly, I think, like I said, Rappaport's not necessarily a bad actor. I just think he
He's
thinks
a bad person.
he thinks he's bigger and more important than he is. Like
I would have to agree.
like he thinks he's like Nick Cage, Samuel Jackson, like even Ving Rhames famous. Man, I'd have a beer with Ving Rhames just asking about some of the fucking roles he's gotten to play. Like he's had to have such fun playing a bit of everything.
Yes.
Good
He's done
God.
horror.
That man has played comedy, action, horror. I'm pretty sure there's dramatic in there. The only thing I think I haven't seen him potentially play is like a gay man that I'm aware
He
of.
did play one. He
He
played
did play
in
one in
Honest
no
Hearts.
with Chuck and Larry.
No, he played another one in Honest Hearts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
Let me look it
I
up.
haven't seen all of I now pronounce Chuck and Larry and
Oh wait, no, that wasn't Vin Rings. That was Green Mile.
Michael Clark Duncan.
yeah.
Yeah, that's who that was. I get those two confused so often.
I don't know how Ving Rhames is about average height and Michael Clark Duncan, God rest his soul, because I believe he passed.
Yeah, he
Yes, he
did. He
did.
died.
Yeah, that man was a giant. Like you look at Ving Rhames, you see him in the eye, like okay, like he's an average sized dude, and then you see Michael Clark Duncan, and you're just like, fee fi fo fum, holy fuck, I better run.
Pretty much.
Except for instead of like so many of the people like that, it's like they're that big and seem that mean, but they're actually like super nice people. Like everything I've seen from like Michael Clark Duncan was just like he's actually just like a super nice dude.
Holiday Heart. There it was. Portrayed a gay drag queen in the television movie Holiday Heart.
Wow.
Yep.
But
So
we'll
yeah,
go back to
Oh, he was a power bottom.
and to the movie we were talking about. Overall opinions. We'll start
weird
with you,
movie,
Tier.
but a good one. Weird but good. Nicolas Cage has had a few hammy scenes. He used David Caruso's character as an emotional diaper.
Yeah.
And he fucked himself over in a lot of situations.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things he put himself in the worst. But he before we go to James and that one, like he was using Caruso because Caruso lost his wife and he lost his father, so he saw that as they both lost a loved one and that might have given them some sort of connection. And from what it seemed like originally, it sounded like Cage was trying to get him to open up about it as well. So if they had to, so if it plausibly needed to be done, the grieving process could happen, and he believes since they had both lost someone, there wouldn't be near as much judgment. Now I could be completely spitballing and totally fucking wrong on that, but that's what it seemed to me.
It seemed more like he just wanted a friend. Like he was he just became mob boss or whatever, the new big boss at this organization, and he stood atop and had no equal, no peer. Everybody was kind of a suck up, So he probably would look for more of a friend. He just come out of prison. He did 3 years for me. There's no real love lost. I can't order him around like when he gave him the red car, the red Explorer. Yeah, but again, I like this character. Thank God it fucking wasn't. What was that one movie we did that I completely utterly passed out on?
Wasn't
The one where
fuck. Well,
where he was a cokehead.
It wasn't Time to Kill.
God, no, not Time to Kill.
Was it Deadfall?
Was it Deadfall?
No, Deadfall was with fuck. Is that's where it's the con man thing?
I think it was Deadfall.
Yeah, it had to be because we watched everything else because like we always made the wild at heart jokes.
Yeah, I think it was Deadfall.
Yeah, but we'll get past that. James, your opinion of it?
Honestly, there's a few things that could have been should have had some further development in it. Like I said at the beginning of the story between Rappaport and Red, what's his face?
Caruso.
Caruso, yeah.
Mhm.
That thing could have been developed better. We all knew that Michael Rappaport's character was going to get got. It just went on too fucking long. You know, that was half the story right there. Waiting for Rappaport to get his.
Yeah.
Caruso
And,
should have did him in.
huh?
It should have been Caruso that did him in.
Yeah, it should have been. But, yeah, he's going to get got, and it just went on way too fucking long for my taste.
So I think it was
But,
probably better that Caruso's character didn't do that and that whole thing because then it just would have lamented things to be a lot worse.
Again, it was his fault. His wife died. Like had he not put her in that situation, she'd have never got hit by the truck.
See, that is true.
So and again, most of the bad shit that happened is because of his character. He fucks up and is about to get hurt and begs him to help. You know, in the midst of doing this job, he's fucked over. He stays out of prison while Caruso goes to prison. And then he hits on his wife. He screws over his wife, you know.
Yeah.
Instead of giving her all the money, he only giving her part of the money. He's clearly trying to fuck her. I'm pretty sure he touched her.
Most likely.
yeah.
If he didn't directly assault her, he touched her because again, if you look at the scene where she wakes up, her pants are unbuttoned.
Yeah. And that could have been plausibly her, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely. And then it's his car she drives and gets crushed. And then he lies about it. All the bad shit that happens to Caruso happens because of him. And technically he does get his comeuppance, but it's not Caruso that gives him the comeuppance. It's, Nicolas Cage's character.
Well, that's because that was supposed to be the whole thing of, one, it was the aspect of he didn't take care of the family like he was told to, because Rappaport's character was told to, and then the other part was
he was a snitch.
We clean our own backyard. Because it wasn't that Caruso was a snitch. None of them. I don't know if any.
Oh no, I'm talking about Rappaport.
I must have missed that.
Caruso's the one that named everybody else but him to get him killed after he killed his wife. See, Caruso blamed.
Oh yeah.
Held Rappaport responsible because he knew what he was doing. So when he fingered everybody with the DA after his wife died, he left him out on purpose to get got.
Oh shit!
Is that the part you missed?
Yeah, it's the part I missed when I was dealing with some of the food and whatnot.
Okay, yeah. So see, that's what happened there. Is that what led Nick Cage to his door, or Rappaport's door, was the fact that they had performed another job before the car job that got them picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And Caruso left out Rappaport's character. Named everybody else, including Nick Cage. So, yeah.
And I still say he should have been the one to give the killing blow.
In a way, he did. But at the same time, it was you know, I've told you the difference between karma and justice, right?
I don't believe, and if you did, I'm sorry.
Okay, karma is when you hear about it happening. Justice is when you're the one doing it.
Okay.
So kind of
Okay?
karmatic justice.
In a way, it was karma because he got to hear about his death. He didn't get to see it. You know what I mean?
All right, I get it.
Yeah.
So,
Karma is the
but
invisible hand, and justice is the direct hand.
exactly. But Caruso's character was the invisible hand in that
So
because
technically, he was both
he set
justice.
up Rappaport to get got. What he
So
put
in
two
this,
and two together.
so in this situation, he was both karma and justice.
Yeah, but like I said, it went on too long for my taste. But then when you finally get to the point of Nicolas Cage's character and seeing what he's about, think
Mm-hmm.
about this. Okay, you've got roughly a 5'7" muscular bruiser type with asthma.
Yeah.
How the hell are you gonna beat someone's ass when you got asthma? I mean, don't get me wrong, at the end, he held his own, but at the same time, and I like that about that fight scene, is that they didn't ever forget he was asthmatic.
Yeah.
Because while he was fighting, he was wheezing.
Yeah.
That was beautifully done.
I mean, it wasn't a bad
You
fight scene.
know?
It stayed pretty realistic and whatnot. The only thing I would have to say on that is like almost fucking everything, especially with Sam Jackson earlier on, when he's the one who punches Caruso because of the shit that happened,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and he has that fucking all the way from left field fucking haymaker that he throws into his gut, and it's just like
Dude, you
that's a
telegraphed that
terrible
for fucking.
fucking. Well, one, Caruso wasn't gonna fight back at that moment, but just I hate those fucking punches. I mean, those are the type of punches you always see. Well, I'm gonna be like sound racist on this one, but typically you see like a lot of black kids throw. You see white kids throw it too. You typically see a lot of people throw, but like anyone who'd be considered urban, I guess would be like the proper way to put it. But you'll see them do that. They have and they'll throw the punch with their entire arm straight or barely bent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay.
surprised he wasn't pulling up his pants first.
Ha.
But yeah. But like I said, throughout the movie, it stayed pretty. It kept its continuity. You know,
Yeah.
it's held its shit together until the end. So it was a solid movie. I can nitpick about, like I said, little
Yeah, the
things.
first part seemed to take up with. I can agree that with the Rapport's character took too long. I did like
Mm-hmm.
the the coming to understanding between Caruso and Jackson's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Because
like that guy.
like you really see it come to fruition in the whole thing to where Caruso goes out there and his daughter's just sitting on the fucking seesaw, and he's like, Jesus
What
fucking
up,
Christ, one
mom?
of you could he's like at least kind of play with her and whatnot. And as Jackson comes up and is saying, the autopsy results and everything for his wife, and he's like, "Hey, I have to go do this, but I'll be picking up my kid. If I can, I'll try to bring her about here. They're about the same age, so she at least has someone."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll give you that. They came to an understanding, and I think it's because, excuse me,
He was a man of honor.
Caruso reminded him that they took the same bullet because, yeah,
I'd like to think like remember the when he first tells the DA, "Are you a man?" Asking me, "Are you a man?" On and he lies to him, but Sam Jackson's character, who all intents and purposes, like it's because of your ass that I'm fucked up. I'm not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Is a man of honor.
Yeah.
You know.
But if Caruso hadn't put his hand out there, that bullet probably would have killed him. Let's not make any lies about that.
Most likely.
True. But Sam Jackson doesn't know that, or his character didn't know that.
He probably knows it in that whole thing, but he also thinks, it's that whole thing, the plausibilities. Maybe if he'd have been a little bit left and whatnot. I do need to double check. And that was the only thing that bugged me about this movie was the fact that I actually could not find it in IMFDB for how little the firearms are used. Because it looks like Caruso's character takes out like a small 1911. Like the only kiss of death I can find is the old like 1940s movie.
Anywho, but held its continuity together. No, the director should be applauded on that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There's Samuel L. Jackson, while he was a small time character in this, he did some really great acting because he never forgot what his character has to do.
Yeah.
You see him, even when he's walking away, he's wiping that eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a great touch. It's one of the small things that make you appreciate that character. Because he never forgets that, oh yeah, I gotta wipe my eye.
Yeah.
The light hurts.
So like I said,
exactly.
It's a weird movie, but it wasn't terrible. Like it was good.
Yes.
Honestly, once you get past that, like once you get to that Rapaport beatdown, is when it starts to take off.
Yes.
Because the movie changes tone after that movie. You think it's going to be a standard revenge film. Like, it's almost like it's a second movie.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you see, as soon as the wife dies, you're like, oh, okay, so we're going to have things go up, and it's going to be the whole of that whole thing. And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah. You're thinking like it's the premise of the movie is going to be, hey, he's going to come back, he's going to get revenge on his cousin who set him up, and some more shit. He's going to literally break his cousin and then kill him or something to that effect. But nope, he gets killed almost immediately. Maybe not a half hour in, but about an hour, not even an hour.
No, like Rapaport's character's dead in like not even 40 minutes.
Maybe 30 to be safe.
About 30-ish.
And so, and the movie's tone changes completely again from being a revenge story to being, oh, this is now a thriller, or if you will.
Yeah. And I forgot Caruso was in the first Rambo movie.
He was?
Yeah, he's the younger cop. He's the one who says, we arrested a goddamn war hero.
I have to look that up. But again, this movie is great. Weird, but great.
Yeah, it was one of those ones you had to really watch.
Yeah, I'll probably have to sit down and rewatch it again.
Because some of the beats are quick that will cause you to make it think that it just doesn't, like it doesn't flow right. But if you watch it, there's parts where it was forced.
Now that I think about it, if you take a look at when he first asked him, you know, I go back to the man of honor thing. Like the father was a man of honor. He oh well, he did this for our family, so you take care of the wife. You know, $400 a month. You know, make sure she gets a car, get her
No, it
home
wasn't
safe.
400 a month. It was 400 a week.
Oh, sorry, 400 a week. You know, make sure she gets home safe. Give her a car. You know, that's the boss saying these
Well,
things.
yeah,
You
because
know,
it was supposed to be the 400 a week. Then Rapport's character drops down to 150, and then because he
yeah,
gave her a job, he's like, if she's gonna be working for you, you give her her own car. Basically, going
yeah,
through the whole thing of being like, she shouldn't have to talk to you or deal with you. She comes in and does the job and goes home, take care of the guy who put his ass in, whose ass is in jail, protecting us. And that you
exactly.
let them live their life. Then when he gets out, depending on what goes on, they go about their own way, and then we're done.
Yeah,
As
you
thanks.
know,
And Rapport's character just kept trying. It seemed like Rapport was going to go along longer because it seemed like he was trying to slowly usurp the throne.
but he wasn't. He isn't king material.
No, but like
No,
a lot of people, he thinks he is.
Like you said, he was destined to die. Like he
Dude, that's so many characters Rapport has played where it's like they think they have the makings. I should say, they think they have. They think they are the great person who should be in charge, who should be leading all these things, not realizing they're not that person.
yeah, you're not kingmaker. You can't be king. You know, you're not even able to be the power behind the throne.
Yeah.
You're the fuck up.
exactly. And see, but the whole thing is that with what Rappaport did in the club
Mhm.
was a disrespect. You know, he was
Mhm.
trying to put his moot like, see, I've got this under control, and it didn't fly well with the old man. That's why I said make sure she gets home
Mhm.
to her home.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he respected that. You know, it's a man's wife. You don't fuck with another man's wife. You know, he had principles. Nicolas Cage didn't. Nicolas Cage was willing to attack a child. I'm pretty sure the old man would never condone some shit like that.
Well, again, that's why uh, the old man, as soon as it seemed like he was hitting on the chick, he's like, "No, get out." He's like, "Have them get out of here and make sure they get home." I'm honestly more surprised that instead of having Rapport take her home, he didn't look at Junior, his son, and say,
And
"Junior,
say you take her
you
home.
take her home to make sure she gets home," or one of his other characters, and probably have actually, if anything, I would have expected him to have uh, Junior, Nick Cage's character, take Rapport back there and been like, "Look, do not fuck this thing over like you think you're trying. You are not this material."
What he should have done, what I was expecting was like the story I was expecting was that Nicolas Cage talks to Helen Hunt's character and goes, "Oh, he's only yeah. Are you getting the money? Yeah, I'm getting the 150. 150? No, you're supposed to be getting 400. Did he give you a car?
Well,
No, he didn't
again,
give me a car.
the car didn't, he didn't say give him a car until he brought her to the club.
Well, true,
Yeah,
but I'm talking about after
Yeah.
that, like before that little stretch between her waking up and then her dying. I thought the story was going to go like Nicolas Cage's character was going to talk to her and figure out that Nikki's fucking her over.
Yeah.
And he's not going to say anything to her, but he's going to talk to Nikki or Michael Rappaport's character. Sorry,
Yeah.
and have some words,
Yeah.
and then she gets killed.
Yeah. Little Junior would have talked to Bev, so that way Ronnie could have gotten his comeuppance.
Yeah, and that's how I thought the story was going to go until she dies, and it goes from being
Yeah, I was honestly expecting Rapport to get fucked up and probably murked because of trying to fuck over the family.
Yeah.
And be Junior's family. Because with that
Uh-huh.
400 a week, that was coming from uh,
Probably
big
his take.
Junior.
And
That's
and that's probably
and by
another
no,
thing.
and
Go
that
ahead.
whole thing, it was probably coming from Big Junior, considering the fact with what the lawyer said and everything. So that was Big Junior saying, "This is what we're gonna do," which means that money
And
probably went to Rappaport's, been like, "You make sure this gets to her," and instead he decided to pocket $250 to himself.
I don't think he did that. I think he used that money to pay Big Junior. He paid him with his own money.
Probably,
So now he's keeping his profits while giving Junior his own money, essentially.
yeah,
Like it wouldn't surprise me if that's what really was happening. It sounds like a dick thing that someone like Ronnie would have done, because he emotionally manipulated David Caruso's character.
yeah.
So why not do that? Oh, we took you in, and they're gonna break my hands. You know what they do to guys. Come on now, it's my life, please. And then when he gets to him, like, yeah, it's more casual instead of being a desperate thing.
Yeah.
He clearly was manipulating them, and he fell for it. He got guilted. Don't get guilty. Don't let nobody guilt trip you, kids.
Exactly.
Like, he'd still be fine and dandy had he not gotten guilt tripped.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True story.
Well, if Rapport would have had who I guess was supposed to be there originally, instead of probably pissing that person off, which is my guess of what happened.
Yeah. And again, with him attacking the guy that brought the car, you know, it,
Mm.
it yeah, it just seems like some weird shit. Like he was trying to move up in the world,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and he was doing a piss poor job of it.
Well, like the
He
whole
thought he
thing.
was cheap big nuts and wasn't.
Well, like the whole thing of being like, "Oh, you a cop?" When the guy comes there, basically trying to sell you a boosted car, all he has to just be like, "Is we don't do that. You need to leave, or we'll call the police on you." That's
Yeah,
how that's how someone in the mob would have handled it. It's like if they didn't want to deal with them, they'd be like, "Oh no, 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 no. We'll get the police on you because it gets them off our back because we look like the good people, even though we may have been be dealing with it's like fucking boosting cars and scrapping parts and whatnot, selling shit on the black market and everything. No, no, no. We don't know you and that whole thing. Yeah, if they happen to be it's like an undercover cop. Well, they get to arrest an undercover cop who gets to get put out later on.
yeah, and that I'm pretty sure they were using that as an entrap if
Mm-hmm.
it was true that he was a cop, which we never get any confirmation. It would have been used as, hey, they bought this shit. Like, I have proof that I sold it to them.
Yeah,
But if you did like you suggested, where they go, oh well, we don't deal with that type of shit.
yeah. You
You
must have.
know,
I don't know who you think you know, but they either told you they were spinning you a tail or something like that. But you need to leave here because we don't do that type of thing. And if you don't leave here, we're gonna get the law involved.
yeah. Ronnie was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's what all of his characters. I shouldn't say all, but majority of his characters are, and he plays
True
it well.
story. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, granted, I think it's just from a lot of the shit I've seen from his little videos of the shit for what's her name who claimed that Trump raped her, and then how it's like, oh, we fucking got you, but it was E. Jean Carroll. And those
yeah,
little videos, it's like he is. It's like honestly, it seems like a lot of the characters he's played, he just is like he's just playing himself.
Life imitates art.
That's true.
I mean, if you're gonna be stupid, I guess you're gonna play stupid.
Well, I've always looked at Michael Rappaport's characters as cowards. You know, people that can't own their own shit. Does that make any sense?
I mean, I guess he's typecast as the idiot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say he's the idiot. I would say he has
The fake tough guy.
well, it's the fake tough guy, and he's blinded by his own arrogance.
Limitations.
Wait a minute, pause. What's the saying from Magnum Force? Man's got to know his limitations.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I said it's that he's blinded by his own arrogance is he's so arrogant he thinks that he knows all of this stuff when he actually doesn't. So he can't see what his limits are.
Ah.
And because of that, it causes him to be stupid. Like when he thinks he's doing the smart thing, he's actually not.
Never go full retard.
But have you ever? This is what he should have done. Do what he would do, but do the opposite. You know,
Because
I really should.
Because like his character in Justified is very similar to this one in Kiss of Death. He's a person who he leaves where he was because they got into some shit. I think it was in Miami, so they go to where the one thing is, and he starts trying to make moves like he's going to take over and everything, not realizing that it's just going to put him in. It's like the reasons why they had to leave, not Miami, but Florida, if I remember correctly, was his own mistakes. And you can't just keep going down that path. That's why I said it's like he's blinded by his own arrogance. And then like Cage's character still had some intelligence. He's just kind of a sociopath.
Yeah, he is clearly mentally disturbed of some sort. Yes,
And he was definitely lashing out on things as well for some reason.
killing Ving Rhames' character. Yeah, like
He kind of he took that as a disrespect. I bring you a car and you don't like the color.
Well, and the whole thing was like, you can repaint it, and he's just like, oh, it'll still be red underneath. And it's like, you do realize when it comes to repainting most cars, unless it's a touch-up, they sand the paint off.
Well, maybe Nick Cage should have explained that to him.
Nick Cage probably didn't fucking know it.
Probably didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but anyway.
I will still say like 610 would recommend.
610 recommend.
Maybe I ought to make that 7 because as soon as I said, I was just like, oh, that makes it 3/5. God damn it! I wasn't even trying for that fucking.
Yeah, I would recommend it, but it's also one of those movies you have to pay attention to. So you have to be listening to everything.
I'm
curious.
I have a small curiosity, and I just remembered this. Whose blood did he use to fucking write BAD on her forehead?
He didn't use blood. He used makeup.
Oh, okay. All right. Whew.
Blood has a very distinct look, and you can tell it was way too fucking light for that.
Okay. Thank God, because that would have been really creepy.
And I will say, like, so far, Ving Rhames has been in like at least three movies with Cage.
That's true.
Because there's this one, there's Bring Out Your Dead, and there was one other one that I missed.
On there.
Yeah, he's in Con Air as well.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Because he says, "What is a militant overnight like you doing in a place like this?" Says, "Oh, that's going to play good until we get to where we're going. Then it'll be the day of the diamond dog."
Put the bunny back in the box.
You know, I didn't mind Cage as a mobster character. I just found it funny is you've got a asthmatic bruiser.
Yeah.
And that's
You
pretty
got an
much what
asthmatic bruiser and you got a half blind sheriff.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
just me, though.
So,
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
I mean, you never make your muscle the head of your family.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was back in medieval times, you
It
would
could
have
work.
your barbarian well fed, well kept, but you don't let him run shit.
Well, you also wouldn't have that be your fucking son either.
Your successor.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have that be your successor.
Yeah, your son, your successor. You grew him to where if he has to use violence, he can, but he is not your primary go-to to take care of those. That's a
Yes.
different person.
Exactly. I mean, if he had another son that was the brain, yeah.
It should have been his younger brother. Like if he had another son, it should have been like a younger brother. You know, the class. That way, it could have played up the whole family rivalry thing where I'm the elder, so I should take over. Versus, well, I'm the smart one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like, I'm the smart one. I'm the one that knows the ins and outs of the business. You, when Dad pointed, you took action.
And hell, it
Me,
doesn't even necessarily have. It doesn't even.
Sex.
Hold on. It doesn't necessarily even need to be the whole thing of, the two brothers going back and forth at each other for who's going to be in control. You might have it be that the older brother is like, look, I protected you as we grew up and everything because I could, because you're my little brother. He's like, you're the smarter one. You know how to take care of this. So it's like, I got your back. We're family. You run everything else. Anyone who tries to get in your path, I'll fucking take care of it.
yeah, but
Noticing each
that
other's
does,
strengths and weaknesses.
but
Or
then
they just
again,
run it together.
that really wouldn't have flown with the way that Nick Cage's character was.
Yeah, with the way
You know,
Cage's character was. Well, not necessarily, because like he had no issues with his dad and that whole thing. Technically, that was his dad, and again, it falls in the whole thing. We're throwing a big what if scenario out of shit we can't even tell what's going to go on.
hmm but like I said, the whole point of it is he didn't have a reason to, other than losing his father. I mean, that wouldn't have. But of course, I'm playing armchair quarterback here because I would have to have more reason, more motivation to be that
That
psychotic, Other than I like my, I like my fisty skin, you know.
Yeah.
well, that all depended on who what the reason was. Because for a lot of it, he didn't like. It was what he hit the one guy after his dad died. He beat Rapport's character to death. They really didn't have, and they really didn't have him get physical with too many people, other than when he fought
At the end, yeah.
Caruso, and then the whole part kind of in the bathroom when he thought he was wearing a wire, but he'd already disposed of it prior.
You know what I find funny though? Again, remember what I posted? Like, hey, the boss is kind of losing. Should we jump in? Nah, he got it. Like they could have taken out. They could have taken him out if they worked together.
Yeah.
Like he'd have been out and kicked dead by then.
Oh yeah.
But nope. Yeah, plot over. Like y'all had the gun. Like, yo, somebody hit him over the head and fucking take him out. Especially after he hit nigga's Cage over the head with the glass. And he grabbed the bottle. Like, what the fuck you gonna do with a single fucking bottle? It's like 8 of us.
That was 3. I paid
It's 4 of us.
Yeah, including Cage, it's 4 of them. But I do think I will say with the one dude who grabbed the stripper that they then made strip and get a freaking was like $1 bill or whatever in his underwear. Like that was a pretty funny punishment. Like you're expecting this dude to get kicked in the nuts, a cigarette put out in his hand, and it's just like, nope, we're gonna make you dance up there.
See, and that does prove that Nicolas Cage has some intelligence.
Yeah.
He is instead of being the bruiser where he could have just, hurt him, and now he won't come back. He's fucking terrified of me.
Well, he'll come back, but he won't try this shit again.
Yeah, but now he knows what they go through, and he'll be a little bit more respectful.
Yeah.
I didn't have to hurt him. The message got across.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he enjoyed himself. I hope not. That was kind of creepy. So, hey. So he does have some intelligence.
I will say, though,
I
will say it is pretty apt of, like, with kind of the politics that have been happening in the world, where, like, Trump gets arrested and whatnot, so we do that little crime family intro thing for yesterday, which was it was so dumb but so fun. And then to go into a mob movie is just talking about, like, watching a mob movie, and I did not realize anything else of it. I was like, oh, we'll do this one. And then just how shit happened, it seemed like almost in a way the stars aligned to be like, here's a really weird coincidence for you.
Especially with one of the central elements is a state level prosecutor versus federal prosecutors trying to get the same guy.
Well, kind of in a way trying to get the same guy, but also it was the state prosecutor trying to become a judge.
Yeah.
Like the DA was trying, because I think that's what it was. The DA was trying to use that to basically get it to where he could become the district judge.
Yeah, a federal judge. Yeah.
So, like, it's still a fun movie.
Yeah, it is.
That, like we all said, that first part, little too long. Honestly, that probably all could have been like a quick synopsis of that whole thing of, like, having before Rapport's character gets the beatdown, having majority of that be like a flashback of, like, what kind of has overly, like, the overarching of what's happening. Then, like, you can have Caruso's character wake up in prison, or it be like the aftermath of the first thing to where, he's talking to the lawyer. They're like, you do this, it's 3 years, and we'll take care of your family.
Yeah.
Because then they could have put a little more into the dichotomy of, like, Omar being Rames's character, or a little more dichotomy between, like, Cage and Caruso.
Shit, again, you could cut that whole fucking first act out and nothing of value was lost. I love Helen Hunt. Like, don't get me wrong.
Well, that's why, like I said, if anything, you cut out the first part of it where Rapport comes in and shows that he does that whole thing there. Like, you just have him, like, have it be you start it like The Punisher, the second movie, not the first one with Dolph Lundgren,
Okay.
to where they're already at the job and everything happens. So that way you can still see where Caruso's character gets the bullet through the, gets hit by the hand, and then it only skims Jackson. So that way you still have that setup. So, like, if anything, you would have it, the whole thing start up to where, Rapport's character is talking about getting his shoes, then gets fucking grabbed in the throat by Cage's character. And then it goes from there. So you cut out like 5 minutes of that, of the, Caruso's character talking with his wife and having the daughter there. And then the girl that's been going to, I guess, is going to college because,
The sister.
Catherine Earp. Yeah, apparently the sister of Bev, I guess.
Yeah, she was the sister.
That's one hell of a weird thing to be like, okay, so it's like I'm married to, Helen Hunt's character, and we've been helping out Helen Hunt's character. It's like, the Catherine's character, who's Helen Hunt's sister in this movie, to then go to basically he's banging her sister.
Yeah, of his dead wife. Which isn't creepy at all.
I mean, with the time frame of how long it was, I don't think it's near as bad.
From what the movie makes it seem like, she died maybe a few weeks ago.
Well, no.
Well, then again, it was a few years because the daughter's older.
Yeah.
She was a toddler when she died, and now she's at least a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why he says he went to prison for 3 years for them.
Yeah, I'll take it back.
Wow, I will have to say, for a movie that we actually all liked, we have had almost an hour talking mostly this movie.
Yeah.
This is... it's that whole thing, just because it's weird. Like, it's not terrible, it's not great, it's not even out in left field weird or outlandish. We're not talking like aliens or the supernatural. It's just the way the filming was and the way it was presented. It was where it was a little weird, but still a good movie.
It was. Again, it goes from being, it's going to be a revenge flick. Nope, it's going to be a crime drama. The fuck? Like, how do you marry the two?
Yeah. And they did it. Not super great, but they still did it.
Yes.
And
the characters were dicks.
Yeah. Now, all I know is after this, I don't know if I want to go back to continuing watching the Resident Evil live action movies, because I do that every couple of years. I don't know why, other than background noise, or finishing the last two, or slowly working on finishing the last 2 seasons of the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The live action one?
Yeah. Oh no, the TV show.
I need to gather that up and watch that.
I will still say, I will probably end up watching I think it's the 2015 or 2016 or something, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first iteration of where they made, or that's the second one where they made April young, but the first one where they made her black.
I'm so tired of characters getting younger and younger.
Well, the 2012 one, I didn't mind it, considering the fact for that one, we're talking all of the characters are, it's majority of the characters are then around 16. I still like the 2003 one where it starts that way the absolute best, and honestly I think they should have stopped after season 6, or not season 5, because season 5 is where they get into the more of the supernatural. Because in the Rise of the Teenage Ninja Turtles, they have Donatello as complete anti-supernatural stuff. He's all tech, which is completely untrue for Donatello's, almost every other iteration of Donatello's character. They already have him using supernatural abilities and whatnot pretty early on. The fight scene they did that they showed when they're fighting the Shredder isn't bad. I don't necessarily like the art that well. Like, I don't even necessarily like the art for the 2012 one for it being a CGI kind of 3D model, but I don't hate it. I don't have an issue with them making the turtles a bit different in size, but all relatively around the same. Like in the 2012 one, Donatello is taller but skinnier. Like I think Raphael's actually the shortest, but he's also the stockiest.
Well, originally, I believe what they were trying to do was like make them different species of turtle.
Well, in the original, they were all four the same. They had the
Yeah,
same.
originally was.
They had the same everything, the same color headband, the same all of that. The only way to tell them different was what weapons they used. And it was the 1986, 1985, or yeah, 1986, or was it 87 cartoon where they gave them the different color headbands and they gave them the the freaking things on their belt that or the letter on their belt, so you could tell tell them apart and whatnot. But then again, that's like I will still say for all of the movies, which I have yet to watch the second Michael Bay produced. He didn't
I
direct
refuse
it.
to watch that one on the grounds that I may find Michael Bay and kick him in the balls a billion times.
There are certain movies to where I think Michael Bay should be a director in. The first Bad Boys, or like the Bad Boys series, not bad. It's meant to be action oriented. I think they're doing it with someone else because there's a little too much explosions. But like Michael Bay for a Transformers movie, wholeheartedly fine with. Transformers is giant robots fighting with explosions. That's what it should have.
Agreed. I completely agree with that sentiment. But Michael Bay, something that Michael Bay has been in, he should be kicking the nuts.
Well, that's why, like I said, for this one, he's only like part of the producer, so he doesn't have as much power as he would necessarily as a director. And I still have yet to watch the second one, just because, while don't get me wrong, the accountant or the whatever, the guy who played the person from hell in Drive Angry, he actually plays a bad guy. Yeah, Fitchner. He plays a bad guy in there in that movie, and he does a damn good job. God, does that motherfucker steal scenes? But just the storyline bored me. And like I can understand the TV shows going back into their origin and that whole thing. But like they spent way too much time on like why their origin was important and everything. It's just it's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
I like the whole thing of either Shredder being originally a rat or Hamato Yoshi turned into the rat humanoid, to where he either already knew the martial arts or he learned them via Hamato Yoshi. Instead of this whole like, oh, I found a book. Or it's like, I found these books and went that way. You all right, James? Your mic's doing
yeah,
that thing.
okay. Oh, sorry.
No, it happens, bro. But I'm not going to go too far into the Ninja Turtles thing. So I think we're going to call it. It's been about an hour. And yeah, I'll definitely say if you're looking for a pretty interesting movie that's a little weird, first part of it drags on longer than it should, I'd definitely say check out this movie. Kiss of Death.
I agree.
Yep.
I haven't watched the original. I think it's like 1940 something. What was that again? Hold on. Not Kiss the Dragon.
You broke my...
Kiss 1947.
Huh.
Oh, yep. It's basically this is basically a reboot or a remake. Except for in the original back in the day, the wife doesn't die and they don't have one child, they have two.
Ah.
Yeah, because it says an armed robber who gets paroled by an assistant district attorney under the condition that he finds information to build a case against Udo, a dangerous situation that jeopardizes Nick's idyllic post-prison life with his new wife Nettle and his two children.
Uh,
So his wife
we,
might
we
actually
should
die in that one.
we might have to actually watch that one because that
It doesn't sound bad, but it's gonna be all black and white, bro.
I watched Casablanca.
I haven't watched Casablanca, and at this point, I don't think I ever will, or I don't have any strong desire to. Like, I know a lot of people say it's like a film, it's like it's a modern film and it's the film that you should watch and blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't care.
Fair enough.
It's also one of those things that because of how long it's been, or it's like I shouldn't say how long it's partially because of how long it's been out, but also for how hyped up it's been in a way. It's one of those I just don't really care as much because it's never going to live up to the hype. I mean, granted, I'm pretty good at ignoring all of that shit anymore, but it's one of those weird things.
I agree. It is one of those movies that you have to watch it with fresh eyes and with the age of it, it's been spoiled
Well, no, I can still watch it with an open mind and everything. It's uh, it, it's one of those things. I know depending on who I would watch it with or who I have the discussion with, because I'm not seeing it. It's, oh, you need to fix that, or well, what'd you think? Did you like this? Did you like that? And I'm more likely to be like, it was kind of meh.
and again, fair assessment.
That's why, like, at this point, I know for some things I could never talk specific movies with like Polydub or Sam, who he's done in noir, who he has noir bars with and whatnot, because
Mhm.
I don't remember if I've seen all of The Godfather, but for how long it's been, everything, I honestly have no current desire unless we get to a thing where we're gonna review those. It's like I have no desire of my own to watch those movies.
Man, those are 3 hour. Each one of those is a 3 hour movie. That would take fucking forever.
Yeah, I just don't care enough. But that's like the
Yeah.
whole thing as well of like I've seen majority other than the Hobbit trilogy, which should have never been a fucking trilogy. God, it's still irritating. I'll though I've got a lot of friends that'll watch that like yearly watch it, if not more than once a year. Will go through all the Lord of the Rings films. I'll probably never watch those again. Not unless I'm with a gal who is into it.
Still better than Rings of Power.
But then again, I'll also never watch Game of Thrones. I just have no desire to.
I have no desire to watch Game of Thrones either.
And I know I've pissed off far too many people on that one, and it's just the way George R. Martin wrote that first book. I got halfway through it, and it's like, I have no idea what's going on, and I'm bored.
Yeah, A Song of Fire and Ice is a tough read.
Hmm.
And I still remember one of my coworkers, and he's like, so I brought up the whole thing. It's like, I can take skipping from person to person quite a bit. Stephen King is pretty notorious for that, and I've had several other authors that have done that I've read that I can't think of.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when they're jumping to the different characters and they're not staying with one character for really more than the chapter, they're still sticking with part of the storyline.
So
And it's like, or I should say, part of that, like that part of the story will still at least stick for 2 or 3 chapters. It's not like I have to go back to 3 different, or it's like I have to go through it's like at least 4 chapters to get back to this storyline, and there's been 4 other storylines going on that
you ever read
they're not furthering any of the other ones.
you ever read the Canterbury Tales?
Not that I can recollect.
So it's an old English story. It's each of it. It's done in from a different character's point of view, but there's a wraparound where I believe they're all traveling together. You know, I think they're all traveling to the city of Canterbury. You know, you got the bishop, I think the bishop, the monk, and they all are telling their story, and their one story, but it all wraps around to how they got on this one journey.
Yeah.
And other things like
That's the thing, though, is for that one, you're not having it that you're going back and forth. It's like that's like from what it sounds like is you're reading each one's individual thing. In A Song of Fire and Ice, you go through with one character, then you go to another character that's further away, then you go to another character that's in a different area, then another character that's in a different area. Finally, you're back over at the Starks' residence with one of them, and they keep just jumping all over the place to where it's like you're not sticking with one thing to where it's like, okay, I can get a little bit of this storyline to where it's all wrapped together. The editing of that book was fucking terrible. Like I said, I'm not saying you need to stick with like, okay, here's one story arc that you're going with of what the story that's being told that's for fucking Stark's family or whatever. It's involving that shit. Then here's the one with the freaking chick and her brother who are gonna be it's like 'cause she's gonna be the mother of dragons or whatnot. And then here's another one because that's like the fucking wall or whatnot. Like, give me like 2 chapters, and I don't even care if they're with different people to get that storyline a little bit so it stays in your head a little better. So like whoever did the editing for that, they just did bad, and I'm just more ADD or not spurg enough to fucking handle it. Like, I'm sure Sanguine's probably right. It's like, oh, I had no problem keeping with this. I knew this was going there. It's like, yeah, because you're fucking Spurg.
God damn it, you're the king of the Spurgs. Well, it has a dwarf in it. It speaks to his people.
How does it speak to his people when the dwarf is the little person and Sanguine's like 6'3" or something?
Yeah, but Samuel calls himself a Tolkien-esque dwarf, so he's technically... Look, all dwarves are same. Dwarves, hobbits, halflings, half-men, it's all the fucking same to me.
Because that was like, what was it? When Tiger King came out and everyone was just like, talk about that one. I didn't watch that because at that time I didn't have Netflix. Now it's just like, okay, whatever.
Again, some things I'd rather never watch because it just sounds stupid.
I mean, I remember at that time it's like because the big thing was going around social media of like, I don't play Pokemon Go or watch Tiger King because I'm an adult or some bullshit like that. Well, that was what they did for Pokemon Go. It's like, I don't play Pokemon Go because Pokemon Go doesn't appeal to me. I think it's a neat idea. It's like I thought it was a neat idea, and it got people out, and a lot of people like Pokemon. Fucking more power to you.
What's the meme? I don't play. You don't play Pokemon because you're a pretentious ass. I don't play Pokemon because it doesn't appeal to me. We are not the same.
Yeah. And then it was like for the whole thing for Tiger King, when people were saying that they didn't watch it, it's because they were trying to throw a cloud of like, oh, because I'm not afraid to say that I didn't watch Tiger King. And it's like, again, I didn't watch Tiger King because none of that shit appealed to me. It seemed like, okay, I love the memes that came from it, especially I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Yeah.
But it's just that whole thing. I just really did not care. Well, we went on a tirade again and went off track, so we're going to call it here now, actually.
What's the next movie we're gonna watch?
Next thing we're getting into is we are going to do the Tremors TV show until completion. So that's probably going to take up the month of September.
Woo!
So we're going to do like 2 to 3 episodes a week and that whole thing. So that ought to be fun because I have not watched these, so I'll probably be a little more glued to this. Parting words or anything you want to leave? I guess there still is parting words.
Fuck bitches, get money.
You want to say that again?
Fuck bitches, get money.
Fornicate women, acquire currency. James, any parting words? James?
Mr. Collins?
Any parting words?
What I do?
No,
I do.
do you have any parting words?
I do.
He's saying goodbye. I do.
A doe?
Exactly.
A deer? A female deer?
No, I do. He's saying French for goodbye.
I fear that'd be without further ado.
I do.
Well, if we go further, that's going to have to be another conversation.
But we will be back all together on. I have no idea if we're doing a Talking to the Void for Tuesday because I got a 12-hour shift that day from what I can remember.
Fuck that shit.
It's how it is. It's gonna help me pay off some stuff since I'm waiting on that fucking sale to go through or to stop being pending and then to ship out that compensator and rear sight so that way I can have it get here, remove a front sight and a rear sight, install a rear sight, and install a compensator on that Beretta. Oh god, I'm so looking forward to that. But take it easy, everyone who watches in the future, because I'm pretty sure it was just me watching, having the stream in the background, and maybe a couple others or whatnot. Have a good